Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth on a great viewer question, and that is, how do I deal with someone who is really causing me to doubt myself and feel like I'm the bad guy. I am the narcissist. And we're picking up where we left off, and really from the previous video. And I know this is kind of in length, but I think it's really important that you really get the moving parts here and get a grip on it and do yourself solid. You might need to listen to these a couple times, take notes, see it in living color in your own life. However, the idea of controlling through guilt and projection, and the fact that these people want to be acknowledged and validated in a very demure, sort of, you're right, putting your hands down and giving in to their projection, their guilt trip. We are special. I am special. As a woman, I am special. As a person who's 6'6", I am special. As a person with 9-inch fingernails, I am special. The problem though is when no one else can be special with this person. So when we see someone who is a narcissist particularly, no one else can really be special the way that they are. So it's a very unfair exchange, very unfair, unpleasant. And usually the relationship doesn't begin like that, but the relationship will get like that when you're in a relationship with a narcissist. So after you get through sort of the beginning stages, the love bombing, the falling in love, if it's a love relationship, or everything is this, that, but then as you really get to see their colors as you move forward, and then there tends to be, it's a me versus them or you, and you deserve to be the persecuted, feel guilty, feel bad, and feel angry, feel upset, throw a tizzy. They want you to lose. Sometimes the narcissist wants you to lose it, or it's because the narcissist, with their entitlement, they feel that they deserve to sort of only hang around with people who are of a specific status. So that's another really hallmark trait of a narcissist, is they really feel that they only, exclusively need to hang around or associate with people of a specific status. So particularly we see this in business. C-level executive, give me another C-level executive, give me the top guy. I want to talk to the president. I want to talk to the CEO. I mean, you could be walking into, or they can be calling, a customer service center. Yeah, I want to speak to the CEO. Yeah, the CEO doesn't take these types of calls. How can we help you? I went through this and this. I want to talk to the CEO. Where's your manager? You're like, this seems like a little, out of, just seems a little bit far-fetched, or it seems like, a little bit overboard, little over the top, I have this, I have that, I'm going to do that, I'm going to have a lawsuit unless I speak with, pushing their weight around, okay? And they don't have any place, but they will make a place. They'll do this. This is what some of these people do. A narcissist, as we're getting back, I think our viewer question was, why do I feel like the narcissist? Especially if you're sort of being projected on, or feeling, people are trying to bully you through a guilt trip. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, it does feel very bullying or prejudicial. And that there's going to be me, and there's going to be you and the problem, or I'm right, this is wrong, and it's going to be due to some unchangeable element. I'm a woman, it's got to be this way. I'm a man, it's got to be this way. I'm super tall, it's got to be this way. I'm super short. I'm from this country. I'm from this zip code. I'm from this area code. Whatever it is, this person just has this going on. It's part of how they operate, their agenda, what makes them them. It's their identity, okay? Their identity. It's who they are. You got to give it to them. That is their inalienable right, how they're going to be, but it doesn't mean that you have to take abuse. It doesn't mean you have to take controlling through guilt. It doesn't mean you have to be an object of projection. If you go up to them and say, I don't want to be controlled through guilt, I don't want to be an object of your projection, they're going to be like, what? It's something for you to understand as a growing and living spiritual and sentient being. Sentient meaning you're a sentient person, meaning you have feelings, you are warm-blooded, you care, you have a heart, and people will say things to try to take you down. Why? Because it gives them a feeling of power and control. For this person who is narcissistic, this is what they go on. So don't give your power away to this person. Own your power. Own it. Even if it's you own it quietly, even if you own it within yourself, you don't have to be disowned by this person and made to feel that there's something inherently wrong with you or you're unrepresented or disrespected. There just isn't any time that you need to give to that. Life is too short to spend it being miserable. You need to make a conscious, deliberate choice, meaning you see what they are doing. And you don't allow yourself to be labeled by something that you don't care to be labeled by. A victim, you're too needy, you're too sensitive, your way is wrong, whatever it is, you don't know, you don't get it. There's something that you will, and usually when you're dealing with a narcissist, there's this entitlement issue, and they're going to take this all the way to Santa Fe. They're going to take it all the way to the top. They're going to take it to their deathbed. This is what they feel their calling is, because where they were born. I mean, you can get people who are born in other countries, who have a lot of governmental issues where there's a lot of persecution, etc. To this very, very, very day. And they're trying to flee it. We've got all sorts of in the news, refugees fleeing, they're trying to find a safe haven. So these people, even though they might make it to safety and start living a good life and, being gainfully employed or having a family and a house and all these things, but there always is going to be this little thing. And some people who have been through this can be very sweet and kind and sharing, and this is not an issue. Other people handle it much differently. Well, you don't get it. I've come from a country of persecution, and I've seen this, and I've seen that, and you have never had to go through this, so that makes me better. You don't understand, therefore, everyone else is going to suffer and pay the price. Or because of, they'll have their own reasons. Let them have it. It doesn't mean you have to assign blame, guilt, and start labeling yourself negatively. Don't fall for it. Don't fall prey to it. Separate and do not react. Do not fall for, their accusations. Oh, you haven't done this. Da, da, da. Okay. Really, let's just see here. Really, is it all that? So, in other words, and then we're getting into a little bit more in depth on how do you manage this feeling, especially if you have to be around, want to be around, feel a need to be around. You can't get away from this person. Might be a family member. They're going to be there at holidays, etc. And they're going to have their thing. They're going to have their issue, okay? And you know what that issue is. And they're going to try to create where over here, everything is good. All of a sudden over here, it's bad. And they'll make sure that, if you can be a projection, i.e. be a physical manifestation of what they have had to endure, they feel that they've done their job in communicating all the horrific things that they've been through and that you shouldn't have it as good because. Okay? So it gives them a way to externalize and have a catharsis if they make other people feel bad, sick, strange, whatever it is, it's not right. You don't have to own someone else's issues. You don't need to help them when you're being the object of contention. It doesn't have to work like that. It ain't gonna fly. That ain't gonna work, okay? It's not fair. It's not right to you, and you should not have to. So how do you back it off? How do you, the lesson, actually, the tension is a gift, because it helps you to see that you have a boundary, meaning where you own yourself, and that you can protect and ask for protection within yourself of that area, and to realize that there's going to be other people who are civil, who might be wealthy, who might be whatever, but they're still going to use these low-level tactics, low-level manipulations. It's just what they do. So the solution, which is the area that you focus, to live in the solution, live in the solution, live in the solution, be the solution, is to understand that you have energetic boundaries where you don't have to absorb all that. So it has to be an understanding in your heart and in your mind, in your mind's eye, in your heart's eye, that this is it. Just think of 8 to 9 feet all around you, spreading out energetically, cool, calm, collected, in a calm body, okay? That's the physiology that needs to be lived in, practiced, rehearsed, where you're composing yourself, okay? Especially the number one physiology, I would say, is being in a relaxed body, having a degree of calm, which is awarded to you by self-acceptance and permission, and realizing that there ain't no pressure written on the wall, spray painted pressure, but it feels like a pressure. That is their manipulation. That's how they get people off their feet, get people off their game, succumbing to them and living out their insecurities. You know what? Life is too short. I don't want to embody someone else's insecurities. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, gave them the big medal. You hurt me, congratulations. Hope you win the Grammy. Continue to, whatever. Been there, done that, not going back. Not taking up storage, not taking up residence, not getting a bigger house to take more of their pain in. I ain't widening the hole in my own soul to hurt more for this other person. So to think I'm going to help them or me, no way, Jose. So it's an opportunity for you to feel and experience what boundaries feel like and self-respect feels like. So that can be the gift from the relationship, from the tension. Why is this coming across my path? Why me? Why again? Why does this happen to me again and again? Why me? Because it is the opportunity. The tension is a gift. Oh, that's a miserable gift. That really sucks, the big one. Okay, well, a gift it is, because it's inviting you to understand what boundaries are and what self-respect feels like on the inside of the boundaries. That's where you have to champion yourself. Now, some people have a lot of experience championing themselves. They've had to do it again and again. It's not always easy, but it's to understand your innocence in the situation and your blamelessness. So clean slate, coming within when you're the object of being pushed around, and just say, no, I'm not reacting. I'm not falling and making myself get bent out of shape because I'm being manipulated through guilt or false accusations. I'm not falling for it. I'm not jumping at it. I'm not jumping into the trap. I'm not jumping into the emotional quicksand. I'm drowning, help, overwhelmed. That is what it is. It's an emotional overwhelm. And when you are overwhelmed, you get into a fog as well as an anxiety, fear, obligation, and guilt. Remember that. Fog, mental fog, fear, obligation, and guilt. Okay, if you see that coming across your path, politely say, no, thank you. You can have that. That's yours. Okay? Ain't doing that this weekend. I'm not doing you, I'm doing me. Okay? So, in other words, you don't have to stroke the negative ego and then negatively validate yourself. Oh, look, I don't have any self-respect, and falling for it and acting, getting yourself bent out of shape. Ask, what can I do, and acting out of fear. Fear ain't a fun place to live in. So thank you very much, but no thank you. And then knowing what those boundaries feel like coming in and saying, man, look at that. A carrot is being dangled out there for me to jump at, and I ain't jumping for that. It's a negative carrot, if you will. Just like a carrot is a bait. I don't know if you've all heard that expression, but I'm not going for the carrot at the end of the stick. I'm not jumping for their bait. I'm not falling for it. So rather than jumping, it's holding your ground. Even if it's just silence, even if it's just being present, coming into the present, the now. And oftentimes it's hurtful because you feel like you can't interact or relate. Okay? How can you relate to someone who is trying to control you through guilt? It's very difficult to have a relationship. But yet, how do you manage? Well, for one, to have a communication with someone who is projecting, it's to a little bit set the record straight. But to set the record straight so that they stop the mistreatment and they stop the abuse and they stop the prejudicial treatment or the bias or the projection, is to get them at the relationship where there can be a degree of receptivity of the other person. So if the person is not receptive to what you have to say, the relationship has no chance. Okay, and so they're not going to be receptive if you're challenging them, pointing the finger, pointing out their faults, pointing out your concerns, or being judgmental. They're not going to have it. So we're not going to go that route. We're going to approach it as cool, calm, collected, and savvy people. And you're going to understand that this person is begging and pleading for acknowledgement and validation and understanding. So that's why they're so projective. They have a sore spot. It's a real sore spot. Whatever it is that they need, whatever it is that they're projecting about, and they're not going to give it up. And so you don't have to feel like you're defeated, but to be able to communicate, you need to be able to acknowledge and validate a little bit about where they're coming from, and getting it to a place where they see that you're in their shoes, meaning you understand who they are, okay? But it doesn't mean that they are a threat. So if it's so like for our viewer who feels like this person is making them out to be the bad person, false, I don't know too many details, a very short email. So communicating, so they want to be heard. Okay, so oftentimes, and then they'll be more inclusive. So let's just say, for example, it's a woman who feels maybe you're trying to be intimate too quickly, or you're wanting to do too many things that you come up with. You need to acknowledge and validate this to the degree that you show you're sensitive.